ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, is pleased to welcome you to Brooklyn, Michigan, side of Michigan International Speedway, and seen at today's NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Detroit Gasket 200. We have overcast skies. We have had a lengthy rain delay. It has rained all afternoon, currently 73 degrees, humidity 96%, and we still, believe it or not, have a 50% chance of rain. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, and we've told you time and again this NASCAR Busch Series is one of the most competitive parts of the entire NASCAR family. There are 9 other touring series. This may be the most competitive. In 1993, there were just 13 different winners. Already in 1994, we have 14 different winners. In fact, 2 drivers have won 3 events. Terry Labonte has won 3 times. We've also mentioned that Mike Wallace has won 3 events, including the last time we were on ESPN a couple of weeks ago in Indianapolis Raceway Park. The point standings extremely close. Take a look. David Green, 119 points in front of Ricky Craven. Hermie Sadler is 3rd, Chad Little 4th, and Kenny Wallace 5th. And can you believe it? A rookie in the top 10. Dennis Setzer currently sits in 9th spot. He has won twice on the tour here in 1994. Well, we know in Busch Series competition you can pretty much expect the unexpected. And we haven't turned a lap in the race yet, but there's already been some surprises in qualifying. For more, here's our John Kernan.
You know, Jerry, with 13 Winston Cup drivers in the field this afternoon, you'd expect all 13 to be up front. In fact, Derek Cope, a Winston Cup regular, is the pole sitter. But let's look on the outside of row number 1, Kenny Wallace, a Busch Grand National regular. We come back here to the second row. You've got Randy LaJoie, another Busch regular, and Mike McLaughlin starting 4th. This is the first time he's ever seen this racetrack. We go back to the 5th starting position. You've got Hermie Sadler of Virginia, not known as a super speedway driver, mostly his expertise on the short tracks. We go all the way back to the 6th spot to find the next Winston Cup driver. That is Mark Martin. But folks, don't forget last year the dominant performance that he had in this race to go on to win. In fact, in qualifying, they didn't get a whole lot of practice. Mark barely had a qualifying setup. It was more of a race setup for qualifying, a very stout car. Now further back in the field, another stout car, and Kyle Petty is back there.
Well, I'm standing here with Dennis Setzer's car. Excuse me a minute. This rain's messed up my circuit breaker here for a minute. Dennis, this is the first time he's ever seen the racetrack. He showed up on Thursday, had never been here before. He had some trouble qualifying. He came back on Friday. He posted the 5th fastest time overall, which is incredible. I remember the first time I come here, I was way out to lunch. So there are some fast cars at the back of this path, some fast rookies, and they're going to be trying to make their way to the front, John.
Well, a possibility for a tire problem, especially with the green racetrack. Goodyear came here with such a good tire that 7 Hoosier drivers re-qualified on Goodyear's on Friday to try and make it into the field. That leaves only 1 Hoosier car here. Hoosier, a problem with the cars being tight. The engineers have told me they simply went too far in trying to solve the problem. The Goodyear's, on the other hand, have been so good and so fast that Kyle Petty, some of them have been blistering the right side tires. Now we've got a green racetrack. What does that mean?
Well, I think we've definitely got a little bit of a problem here. I talked to Johnny Vincent Jr. earlier. He seemed to be more comfortable on older tires that he had put some cycles in, which means running them, letting them cool, running them, letting them cool. These guys didn't get them last practice yesterday afternoon. A lot of them were concerned about scuffing the tires. So if they're going to be on a green racetrack with brand new tires, there could be some problems.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Let's go back upstairs to Ned and Benny.
Ned, I'm really amazed at how the Busch Grand National drivers are qualifying here at the Michigan International Speedway. A couple of years ago, the front 5 rows would have been taken up with Winston Cup drivers. Not the case this time.
No question but what the regulars on the Busch circuit have caught up to the Winston Cup drivers as far as equipment and experience is concerned. Talk about experience, drafting is going to play a big role in this race today. In fact, I think drafting plays a bigger role with the Busch cars on this 2-mile track than the Winston Cup cars.
Why is that?
Well, because they don't have quite as much horsepower, don't run as fast down the straightaway, so they can use that drafting effect. And that can play a part in how much their tires wear as well. So that is going to be an interesting story, and we'll keep you up to date on it.
And the field is roared to life, some 42 strong, sitting down, getting ready to roll off a pit road for the Detroit Gasket 200. Today's Speed World coverage being brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life, and by Purolator. Legends live on Purolator.
Every time the driving conditions change, the threats to your car's engine change. That's why Quaker State has engineered intelligent oil that senses those changing threats and adapts its own molecular structure to protect your engine, whatever the conditions. So, if the temperature changes, so does Quaker State. If the traffic congestion changes, so does Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Fuel. It's got to be the best, especially when you fire up. It's got to provide efficient turnover. It's got to be lean and have some rare qualities. A WD brand steak from Winn-Dixie. It'll definitely get your motor racing. Oh, the car? It takes high test.
Come on along and head for the mountains of Bushmere. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bushmere.
Hey, you know my crew spends hundreds of hours building those 5,000 horsepower motors. I can explode one in 5 seconds. And when that happens, nobody eats. That's why my guys won't run anything but Fram fillers. You know, Fram gets the nasty stuff out of the oil, so I can go to the other end with my candles lit. And you know, that's in about 5 seconds, nearly 300 miles an hour. You can look at these guys and see they eat pretty near every day.
We welcome you back to Brooklyn, Michigan, the Detroit Gasket 200 coming your way on our ESPN coverage. And this is the 21st event. As you take a look at this 2-mile oval, 100 laps, pole speed 175.426 miles per hour, not a record. The race record average for 200 miles, 125.414. Pit window, 47 to 52 laps, and the purse, $221,967 for a 100-lap event here.
I think that pit window was very critical, Jerry, because if you have to stop, go 47 laps, you got to stop twice.
Indeed, in the track at Michigan here, the corners are banked 18 degrees, front stretch 12 degrees. That's where the cars are right now. The back stretch is 5 degrees. The D-shaped oval, 2 miles, around 3,600-foot front straightaway. That's from the Pro Oval area. You see the fans, a great crowd on hand, waving to these Busch Series competitors. We mentioned 42 cars will take the green flag, 42 qualified. Let's take a look at our Suzuki motorcycle starting grid. On the front row, his first ever pole in Busch Series competition, Derek Cope out of Spanaway, Washington. He's flanked by unbelievable Kenny Wallace, has yet to win this year, but he has come oh so close. Back in row 2, Randy LaJoy from Norwalk, Connecticut, the Phenolube Chevrolet, and alongside him, Mike Magic Shoes McLaughlin out of Waterloo, New York, in the Fiddle Faddle Chevy. Back in row 3, Hermie Sadler, the 1993 Rookie of the Year in Busch Series competition. And there's the man beside him you're going to watch early on for a charge, and that is Mark Martin.
In the 4th row, we see Bobby Labate. He makes a rare appearance in the Busch Series this year, qualified 172.865, and Johnny Benson Jr. Look for him to make a good run here in his home state. And Elton Sawyer with a good qualifying position will start in row 5 along with Terry Labate, one of the 3-time winners so far this year on this series. In the 6th row, we see Chad Little and Ricky Craven, who is battling for the championship.
And back in row 7, Dale Earnhardt, the Goodwrench Chevrolet, alongside point leader David Green. And back in the 8th row, we find Rodney Combs and Sterling Marlin. And row 9, Dave Resendez and Elton Sawyer's wife, Patty Moise. How about that, guys? Husband and wife in the same race.
Back in row 10, Dick Trickle subbing for the injured Jimmy Spencer. This is the Busch car Spencer normally drives. And Tim Fedua out of the Argo and ASA ranks. Back in row 11, there is Jason Keller coming awfully strong, a former All-Pro driver. And the car number 17 is Robbie Reiser out of Allentown, Wisconsin. Row 12, there's Tim Bender in the car 36. And Dennis Setzer, the rookie driver who has won twice this year, Vinny. Impressive run for young Setzer.
And row 13, we see Ricky Craven in the pits. There's my brother Phil Parsons, row 13, alongside Mike Wallace. John Kernan, what's the problem with Phil?
The problem's with Ricky Craven. He's on pit road. They're checking the brake lines. When he went out, he hit the brakes, had no response until he actually pumped up the brake pedal. So right now, they're looking around the left front tire to see if there's a leak. They are now putting the hood down. I didn't see him make any type of adjustments, although they may have tightened the line. Now they're trying to get the tire back on, but Ricky Craven sitting here on pit road. Once again, the problem, no brakes unless he pumped up the pedal. We'll have to check and see if they've got that problem solved.
Now he pulls away, John, but Bobby Dotter, you see him a provisional starter to car number 08. That's the DeWalt Power Tools efforts of Bobby Dotter. There's DuPont Auto Finishes Chevrolet. Ricky Craven, who is currently second in the point standings. Getting set for green at Michigan International Speedway. We'll be back with the drop of the green flag for the Detroit Gasket 200 after this. Stay with us.
I want this motorcycle. I gotta have this motorcycle. My life is nothing without this motorcycle.
Suzuki's can't beat the deal day. Get 0 down and 9.9% financing on a Katana 750, Intruder 800, or RF 900R. Can't beat the deal days from Suzuki.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Every time the driving conditions change, the threats to your car's engine change. That's why Quaker State has engineered intelligent oil. Oil that senses those changing threats and adapts its own molecular structure to protect your engine, whatever the conditions. So, if the temperature changes, so does Quaker State. If the traffic congestion changes, so does Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Racing legend Richard Petty gave us an incredible challenge to try and start his toys.
All my toys.
All at once with a single diehard. So we hooked up all 9 engines, and the diehard started every one.
All at the same time.
But would it still have the power to start this big toy? Here's diehard. More power when you need it most.
People ask me to endorse the strangest things.
A green recliner?
Not much of a sitter. I like going fast. 68 Shelby, and there's only about 300 and some odd made. This car rips. Pure oil now. Keeping them up's half the fun. They all get Pure Later filters.
Pure oil later.
I snag them from the track.
Legends live. Pure later, pure later.
Back in Brooklyn, Michigan, we'll have 3 in-car cameras today, including our pole sitter. You're riding along with Derek Cope in his Sports World Ford. And there's a look at the 35-year-old Spanaway, Washington driver. The White Rose Matchbox efforts, a Chevrolet for Phil Parsons. He'll have an in-car. That's the same car he won with at Charlotte back in May. An impressive run. And Mike Garvey, the Universe Uniforms effort. The car number 0. Garvey starts back in 37th spot. He is from Muskegon, Michigan. And guys, Ned and Benny and Kyle Petty and John Kernan, we're set for green flag racing here at Michigan. Finally, after a long rain delay, we're going to race.
It's been a long time. I'm ready for some racing, and here they come. Green flag is up.
But they are side by side for second, third, fourth, and fifth.
And don't you know that Derek Cope would like to see those guys back side by side for the rest of the day? There's Earnhardt trying to get on the inside. There's 3 abreast, 1 in 1.
Can they make it? This is a wide racetrack. And he couldn't quite make it down there. He had to back off just a little bit. He had a little, he was on the inside of Chad. He had to pull out in front of him.
Average speed 175 miles per hour plus in qualifying. There's a look at Earnhardt. Car number 3, Rodney Combs. The car behind him, the Black Flag Pontiac, owned by Richard Petty. Here are a couple of veterans, guys. You called it.
Well, they're going to try to get hooked up and start drafting. But first thing, let's just let everything settle down. Get the cars in line. There's Chad Little, a 23 car.
Yesterday in practice, Earnhardt and Mark Martin hooked up together and turned some awfully good laps. They were a good bit quicker than anyone else. Now, They are hooked up together there, but as Dana says, they got to get to the sort of single file here and get sorted out before they can really do their best work.
Chad Little lost his spot to Martin and is about to lose another one.
Dale Earnhardt goes in, but here comes Chad back on the inside. Looks like up in that patch net, these guys are getting a very good grip up on the top.
Well, unlike the race here in June when it was so hot, there was a problem over there in turn 3, but the Roger Penske staff have done a great job in repaving turn 3. Look here, 3-4 abreast as we look back in the pack, and we don't anticipate any problems with that turn 3.
That's David Bonnet in the car number 03. He is the meat in that sandwich on the inside. Doug Hebron in the car number 75. We showed you at the top of the show in the 2 car. Richard Craven was in the pits and getting not a good result.
No, is he slow on the racetrack?
Well, we're told they have not been able to fix the problem.
Oh, he has no brakes? Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine being around this racetrack with no brakes or very little brake?
Yeah, you don't want to run very long out there. Not that they need the brakes going into the turn, but they need the brakes in traffic. If somebody slows down in front of you, you need to be able to have something to slow down with.
Can you imagine the frustration sitting here all day waiting to race in the rain, and suddenly you finally get the race and you don't have a brake?
But it looks like he does have some brakes, because he would not be up there racing with these guys if he couldn't go in the corner and use a little bit of brakes. It may not be what he wants, but it might be enough to get by with.
There's Derek Cope, our pole sitter and current leader, the Ron Zook-owned machine. Out of Spanaway, Washington. Derek already a winner this year in Busch Series competition, winning up in Loudon, New Hampshire.
And there we see Randy LaJoy, the Phenolube car. He has caught Cope and looks like he's going to be threatening to take the lead, but here comes the A car. That's Kenny Wallace, the black number 8.
Bobby Labonte and the red Dentein Chevrolet running in 3rd place.
Ernie Sadler trying to get by Kenny Wallace as well. The Virginians for Lovers, that's the black number 25.
Picks up the draft of Mark Martin as he comes up through there. Martin now already up to 4th.
And here's Chad Little making a move down on the inside of Earnhardt and will go 4 wide in turn 3, and they make it work as Ernie Sadler backs out. And now Chad Little pulls right up in front of Earnhardt.
Man, 4 abreast going in turn 3. That's Elton Sawyer, the white number 38, that's directly beside Chad Little. Herman Sadler and Earnhardt side by side.
Earnhardt didn't get what he wanted. He was hoping to hook up with Mark Martin. Martin got away from him, got some cars between him, so Earnhardt's back there battling now, seeing Martin drive away from him.
That is 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th position. There come the lead twosome there, Cope and Randy LaJoy. And that battle, what you just saw, they're zipping by at about 180 miles an hour. The 23 car, the Bayer Select machine. And look how they closed up, Ned.
Well, that's drafting. Earnhardt knows how to do it. You saw how close he was on Chad Little going into the turn. Drops back a little bit as going to turn, but that gave him enough momentum that Little was able to pull up the side of Elton Sawyer. Couldn't quite do it there. Sawyer, a lot of power on the straightaway.
And we see the 4 car, Sterling Marlin, has caught Earnhardt. He and Earnhardt going to try to hook up in a draft and get by Chad Little. Earnhardt makes it, but Sterling Marlin gets hung behind Chad Little.
Sterling Marlin started back in 16th position, and he has brought that Kodak Chevrolet to the front in a hurry, or toward the front. He hasn't gotten to the front yet.
The car almost didn't crank on the grid. They had to push it. Finally, it did fire, so he caught up to the field. They were about halfway around the racetrack, but looks like everything is okay with the engine. He's strong.
There we see Mark Martin on the outside. That's the black car. He's on the outside of LaJoy. This is for 2nd spot. And we said Mark Martin was going to be one of the fastest cars here. Well, he is.
No doubt about it. You heard him talk about it. He had a little trouble in qualifying, but when it comes race time, he comes to the front, and he is currently in 2nd spot.
Boy, look how strong he comes off the turn.
Car owned by Jack Roush. Bobby Leslie is the crew chief on this Busch Series car and prepares it. What a job Bobby does.
Ned, you never raced at this racetrack here at Michigan International Speedway, but I never dreamed about being able to drive around this racetrack wide open. But that was the concern that everyone had in the garage here this morning, that Mark Martin is able to drive around in that black Wing Dixie Ford wide open, never backing off the throttle, just like you would at Daytona or Talladega.
That's hard to believe. No more banking than these turns have.
And here's a car that's been on the move. Phil Parsons. He moves right in on the back of Johnny Benson. That's Benson in the Staff America Chevrolet. The Ford to the left, right in front now, the Lipton T cars, Dave Resendez, and the White Rose Matt Fox car, Chevrolet. Phil Parsons, that's the car number 29 on your picture there. The same car that was so strong in Charlotte back in May, won that champion Spark Plug 300.
And he's trying to take over that 15th spot from Resendez. Here comes the race for the lead. Martin on the inside of Coates. And Martin, I think, led that lap, but Coates comes back on the outside.
Well, you said it, Benny. Martin just so strong, but he binds it up a little bit, and that looks like in turn one.
Yeah, when he had to make that sharp of a turn, it rubbed off a little speed.
There's Phil Parsons again. He has gotten by the 79 car. This is Rodney Combs, the French's car, right in front of him, the yellow car. He waves to someone back there and says, thanks for letting me in.
He's up in the top 15 now. Phil Parsons we're talking about. We got a crash.
Problem with the back straightaway. A couple of cars sliding through debris and coming into contact with
Tim Bender is the 36 car.
And the 46, making his first ever Busch Series start, John Alexander out of Concord, North Carolina. And he's for Kent Chevrolet. There's the John Alexander machine who has driven ARCA competition back in 89, 90, 91, making his first Busch Series start. Here's what happened.
Well, the crash is already in progress, and look at those roof flaps come up, keep those cars on the ground. And they get down. Watch, they're going to some pool of water in a second. I think, oh, no, it was Alexander that hit the water. And as Jerry said, you can see just how much rain we've had here.
Those two cars were running in 31st and 32nd position, respectively. As they bring out the first caution flag of the day here in the Detroit Gasket 200. Back with more Busch Series action from Michigan after this.
If you think racing is more than just a game, call now to own Stock Car Racing's most thrilling moments, the heart-stopping new program from Popular Mechanics Magazine and ESPN Home Video. Relive the heroic feats that transcend the sport. All the legendary drivers are part of this collectible 45-minute video. Experience racing history as if you were there. To place your credit card order, call 1-800-717-ESPN. Only $14.98 plus $4 shipping and handling.
Crime is rampant in America. A car is stolen every 20 seconds. Police need your help. I'm Deputy Flack, and please, wherever you park your car, lock the club on the steering wheel to prevent your car from being stolen. The club is a tempered steel lock that's tough to defeat. Its high visibility deters thieves and makes them move to an easier target. The club is the best auto theft deterrent I've seen, and I recommend you use it. Accept no cheap imitations. Always ask for the club by name. And let's put auto thieves in their place.
Exciting action back at Michigan, and Chad Little is leading. He's the car number 23. That's Earnhardt down on the inside of the car number 3. He is 2 laps down, but look at Mark Martin coming back in the car 60.
He's trying to take the lead back from Chad Little. He's trying to use Earnhardt's grab to do that, and he just might be able to do it. Yes, he's back in front.
Now, Earnhardt goes 3 laps down when they passed him this time. He has made 2 pit stops, lost a lap each time.
Here's what happened a moment ago in the backstretch. Now, Chad Little was trying to move to the inside of Earnhardt.
Trying to move down, but he got on the inside, and Mark Martin caught that draft. And watch as Harry Gant is slowing, and Mark Martin, thank God, just backed up a little bit and let the 23 car go in there.
Let's check in with John Kernan.
John, Sterling Marlin has just been in on pit road for right side tires. Once again, we got blistering. This is the right rear. Some severe blistering here. Some blistering also on the right front tire. Steve Neal, who is also helping out Mark Martin in the pits today, was immediately down here to check this situation out. As you can see, definitely having a problem if the setup is off just a little bit.
Terry Labonte coming back in, John. He's had trouble today in the MW Window Chevrolet, one of the 3-time winners. Winston Cup competitor. There are the front 2.
Mark, he's looking up in his mirror and he says, please, Chad, we don't have to run this hard. Back off a little bit. But Chad wants to get up front.
Yeah, they have a big lead. Here's a battle for 3rd. Bobby Labonte in the 3rd position. And how about Mike McLaughlin there in the car number 34, having a great run here.
Mike McLaughlin coming off that impressive 3rd-place run in IRP. Had never been to Michigan until he came here on Thursday. Right now being shown in 4th position, about 5 seconds back. That was the interval leaderboard to our leader. And here is Tim Steele, the H&S Steele Ford Thunderbird. He is off the pace. ARCA Series champion.
Slow going in the 3rd corner. Looks like Jimmy going to the pits. Bobby Allison Motorsports was able to attain a sponsor, Straight Arrow, and Ron Zook bought into the team, and he said, I'd like to have Derek Cope as my driver. So that's where we are right now. Derek Cope is the driver for Bobby Allison Motorsports.
And actually, Ron Zook told me yesterday that they haven't finalized the deal. It's still illegal. That the intent is to buy half of the Allison team or a percentage of it. He said, but it's still illegal. That's sort of like saying the check's in the mail. It's not quite there yet, but it's close.
All the I's are not dotted or the T's crossed. There's a race for third place. Once again, that's Bobby Labonte, the Dentine car, and that back up to the lead. And let's see, who's leading now, Chad or Mark? Looks like Mark's in front now.
This car is running so smoothly, and yet still able to pull away. And maybe that's why they are able to pull away. The cars are really running well.
I mentioned there are 14 different winners this year on the Tour. Mark Martin won early in the year at Darlington. You saw it on ESPN. Chad Little has yet to win in Busch Series competition. Had a second last year at Dover, Delaware. Currently holding in second position. Let's check in with John Kernan on Chad Little.
Jerry, keep an eye on Chad Little. We'll have to make one more pit stop sometime between lap 75 to around lap 80. And guess what? Gary Coswell says he doesn't think that they're going to change tires. That first set of tires that they took off of their car, the right side, looked absolutely perfect after almost 30 laps of them. They don't think they're going to have any problems because the guys that they say have blistering the tires have put on sticker tires. They went with 2 lap scuffs on the right side when they put it around lap 30.
What the teams believe, and I think it's true, that when you run a tire and they get hot, as they cool off, they harden just a little bit. So a scuff tire, a tire that's been used before, they think is a little bit harder, and I think that's true. So that's what John is talking about by a scuff tire, a tire that's been used before. And some of the guys putting a sticker tire on, it's a brand new tire.
Let's take a look at our AutoZone race summary. Mark Martin is our leader, has led 46 and 62 laps. There have been 3 different leaders, 5 lead changes, 2 caution flags for 9 laps, and of course that brings the average speed down to a shade over 141 miles per hour. Our leaders, Mark Martin has led 45 laps. Our pole sitter, Darren Coates, who lost time in the pits with the spark plug wire off, has led 15, and Chad Little, who currently runs in second position, has led 11. Out of race, Tim Bender, John Alexander, they brought the first caution flag of the day on turn 2. Rodney Combs out for Richard Petty in the Bridges Mustard Pontiac, and Johnny Benson, impressive rookie driver, he is also out as well.
Black car on the inside is Robert Presley, the Luxor car, on a lap down to our leader.
Laps are winding down at Michigan International Speedway in the 3rd annual Detroit Gasket 200. Can Mark Martin hold off and win it second year in a row? We'll find out in a moment.
Every day, we all find a way. A promise made, a promise kept, giving it our best.
Napa, we're the most complete source for auto parts, and all Napa parts are backed by a nationwide warranty program. No wonder more Americans trust Napa to keep their vehicles running.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
You can compare the Suzuki RF to a lot of things. Another motorcycle isn't one of them.
How much is this moment worth? $100? 1,000? The moments of your life are priceless. Are you saving them on the right film? Kodak Gold. No other film gives you truer, more consistent color, picture after picture.
Every time the driving conditions change, the threats to your car's engine change. That's why Quaker State has engineered intelligent oil that senses those changing threats and adapts its own molecular structure to protect your engine, whatever the conditions. So, If the temperature changes, so does Quaker State. If the traffic congestion changes, so does Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Back in Brooklyn, Michigan, the Detroit Gasket 200 in the final lap. Just 16 laps remain. It'll be 15 next time by. The big question mark has been tires. Everyone thought you'd worry about the V6 engines. The 274 cubic inch engines holding up here for 200 miles, but apparently that's not been a factor. Here's our points leader, though, having a problem.
Yeah, he was one of those 20 cars in the lead lap. David Green in the Slim Jim Chevrolet, and the crew go over the wall. They're looking at the right side tires, changing the left side tires, it looks like, or are they changing tires? Maybe they're jacking it up so they can get underneath it. Let's go to the pits and John Kernan.
Well, Ned, he was going to be black flag. Apparently, it's reported that something is dragging underneath the car. I can see a crewman reaching. It looked like a strap underneath the car was dragging as he drove by us here on pit road. And we can see a crewman under the car either tightening up the strap to put it back into place or trying to take it off. But what a bad break for David Green, who had told me he was worried about this place to protect his points lead because anything can happen here, and it's such a full field of cars. That's his crew chief, Charlie Smith, there. They have the car on the jack trying to work beneath the car. The Slim Jim Chevrolet. Green having a 119-point advantage over Ricky Craven, who's already had some problems earlier today with his brakes. There's the leader, Mark Martin, with 14 laps to go.
But meanwhile, Ricky Craven is still in about 13th spot, so he will pick up considerable ground on our leader, David Green, our points leader, David Green.
Looks like Chad Little might be gaining a little bit on Mark Martin now.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. There's Randy LaJoy, the 20 car.
He's currently in 4th place. Cena Lance, sponsored car.
Bobby Labonte right in front of him, the Ben Team Chevrolet. Those of you who realize Labonte's been running Pontiac this year on the Bush Tour. They ran out of cars, ran out of sheet metal, so they borrowed a car from his brother Terry Labonte. They're all in the same shop anyway, so he's driving a Chevrolet Lumina here today. It's part of the 33.
In our field summary, you'll be able to see where your favorite driver is. He's done a set up there in 6th place.
That's a great run for Setzer.
He told me he had never been in the state of Michigan until he arrived here Thursday on an airplane. That's how much he knew about this race now.
Well, he obviously had to use a map when he got to the airport, right?
And he won for this race, so running in the top 10, already in 9th in the point standings, and trying to get a top 5 finish.
And Dale Earnhardt once again in the pits. He was slow on the racetrack a couple laps ago. He's back in the pits, changing tires on the Goodman Chevrolet. So Mike Garvey is in the pits. The First Uniforms people, right side up on that car, changing right sides.
Not a fun day for Mike Garvey, 31-year-old Muskegon, Michigan native. There he is coming down pit road in the Ned Loire.
As he goes down, let's watch his eyes. Yeah. No, he didn't glance down at the tack that time.
He's talking to his crew. And Randy LaJoy appears to have a problem. He's down on the inside of the racetrack. Randy was running in the 4th position.
We see sparks from beneath the car a moment ago. Apparently, it may not be an engine. It may be a tire problem.
But the nose is not dragging the ground, so if it was a front tire, the nose would be dragging. But there is sparks under the front. I think that the engine is blown on the car, and oil is coming from wherever it went out the oil pan or blocking. The oil is getting on the exhaust system, and that's the sparks that we see.
And he definitely makes a left-hand turn and leaves a part of it.
That's the harmonic balancer, isn't it?
Yep, off the front of the engine. That's part of the pulley.
And he ran over it as he started into the pits there. So, yes, he had an engine problem.
Pete Babb said, okay, guys, kick that thing over out of the way.
I remember Ned doing a radio interview years ago when he asked the driver, how do you do the engine blue? And the guy said there was pistons ran under the car. Here's Randy LaJoy again, a tough break for this Connecticut driver.
Pulled her down to the inside, out of the way of the traffic. He knew that he was through for the day. Got out of the way and hit it on the end.
And there we see the sparks, as Jerry Punch mentioned, under the car.
And there's Randy LaJoy's car back in the garage area, back with the finish here at Michigan International Speedway in just a moment. Stay with us.
Performance. Every element on the track is matched by one off the track. Off the track and into the high-performance heat pump systems of Luxair. Speed is matched by high efficiency, protection by strong warranty, handling by quiet operation, and power by year-round Luxair comfort. Winners in performance, #1 in comfort, Luxair. A reason for loving every season.
Hey, is that what I think it is? Yeah, it's my new Wagner Power Painter. Well, can you edge with it? Yeah, you can edge like this, or adjust it to control the paint up close. And when I'm done, I'm gonna switch nozzles and stain my deck. Do a lot of other jobs I've been meaning to do. Well, does it clean up easy? Yeah, it's quicker than you think.
Why am I painting this by hand?
Good question. Get a Wagner.
Every time you cold start your car without Slick 50 protection, metal grinds against metal in your engine. With each turn of the ignition, you do unseen damage. Because at cold startup, most of the oil is down in the pan. But Slick 50's unique chemistry bonds to engine parts. It reduces wear up to 50% for 50,000 miles. So get Slick 50 while there's still time. Slick 50 Engine Formulas, the world's #1 selling engine treatments.
Michigan, Kyle Petty, John Kernan, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, and yours truly, Jerry Punch, bringing you the final laps of Busch Series action from Michigan International Speedway. And Benny and Ned, you guys are exactly right. It looks like Chad Little is catching it.
And Bobby Labonte. We've got ourselves a shootout here, folks.
You got two Fords up front, and the Chevrolet of Bobby Labonte running in third place. Earnhardt's back in, so is Mike Garvey. They're having their problems today, but this race for the lead is beginning to shape up.
I tell you what, folks, if there's any brand loyalty, Bobby Labonte's in a lot of trouble in that Chevrolet.
Let's check in with Kyle Petty once again on the tire story. Kyle?
Yeah, Mark Martin's crew chief just pointed at me and rolled his eyes and then walked over and pointed at the right front like it was coming apart. So I think Mark's having a little bit of tire trouble again, and he's just backed off a little bit. And if that's happening with 10 or 15 laps to go, there's nothing Mark can do. He's a set and duck out there in front of Chad Little, guys.
And Labonte has caught Chad Little, Kyle. When they come around, you're going to see Bobby Labonte right in the frame. Man, oh man. And evidently, Chad Little has picked up a push or something in his car, and it almost goes up and hits the wall.
Boy, Bobby came awfully close to the wall. He and Little both.
Boy, if you're Mark Martin, you got to feel helpless down there. Not a lot you can do if you feel like a tire may be coming apart. Do you run hard? Do you back off? What do you do?
There's just too many laps to go. You've got to back off. He can't nurse that car around you for 6-7 laps, I don't think.
He's making it as wide as he can make it, man, to try to hold those guys off.
Well, he is. He's making them use their tires up and use up as much of that racetrack as he possibly can. But looks like Chad Little has other ideas. His car's been working on the inside, but he couldn't quite make it that time. Bobby Labonte goes to the high side and makes the pass on Little.
I'll tell you what, Mark Martin was trying to keep Chad Little behind him, and he forgot about Bobby Labonte. He almost passed both of them.
He slammed the door on Chad Little, gave Bobby the outside, and let Bobby make the pass. Now he has to deal with Bobby Labonte a little bit.
See, maybe that's what Chad Little says. Okay, I'm going to let these guys. Now, when Mark starts to block Bobby, and Mark, if he just moves over, Bobby Labonte's going down on the outside for the lead.
Maybe. Now we hit 33, Benny, and here's Mark back. We'll see if Bobby can hang on. Yeah, Labonte's car really gets a better grip, and Mark has to back off.
Here comes Chad now. Can Mark nurse this car for 5 more laps? He goes over, he moves over and lets Chad Little go by. He says, Chad, I'm not going to block. If you can win the race, go ahead and pass Labonte.
And we were told they're putting the black consultation flag out for the GM Goodwrench car number 3 of Dale Earnhardt. And we are told there's some smoke also out of Tracy Leslie's car number 72, which is owned by Ron Parker, who is the sponsor of this race, the Ford Gasket.
He's headed behind the wall, like into the broadcast.
Break to Tracy Leslie.
So meanwhile, 4.5 laps to go to decide who's going to win this thing.
Ricky Craven in for a pit stop here with just a few laps to go. The DuPont Chevrolet.
He was running in 12th spot. He's going to lose some spots making that unscheduled pit stop.
That's going to help David Green, who lost a lot of laps a little bit earlier here. David's back in 28th position, 3 laps down. And here goes Chad Little for the lead. Can't quite do it.
Mark Martin has just backed off and said, look, I'm not going to blow a tire, a right front tire, and take any kind of chances.
A wise move, and you heard exactly what you said. He's a veteran, he's an experienced driver, realizing that no need to take a chance. He's going to get a top 5 finish. He's not running for points.
Chad Little is close on that 33 car down in turn 1. We can see he's lost about 10 car lengths. Evidently, down in turn 1, when he backed out of the gas because it got so close, he lost a lot of momentum.
One thing about these V6s, when you back off and lose that momentum, it takes a lap or so to get it back up. But he's got it back up now and coming back.
Three laps to go. You can see on your screen. There's a battle for 4th spot. Mike McLaughlin, the fiddle battle. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 64 car.
That's a battle for 5th spot. That's Dick Trickle, former Winston Cup Rookie of the Year at 52 years of age, and rookie driver Dennis Setzer. Running back in 6th position.
The 64 car was scheduled to be driven by Jimmy Setzer, but he broke his shoulder at Indy a couple weeks ago.
There's Derek Cope, running behind our Porsche leader.
And as we said, David Green is 3 laps down, and Derek Coates in the car number 82 is being shown 2 laps down in 23rd position. And here's a battle for the lead, Jerry. But again, Chad Little, his car's working well down there. We saw Ricky Craven coming out of the pits. I don't think that had anything to do with Chad Little having to back off as Setzer makes the move on Dick Trickle. You got a rookie and a super veteran there battling it out for the number 5 position.
What a job Dennis Setzer has done. The Ricky Pearson prepared car. Eddie Pearson, the crew on that car, owned by Daniel Welch, trying to get a top 5 finish the first time he ever saw a racetrack. Impressive run by young Setzer with 2 victories, and Dick Trickle, with that experience, holds the line. The leaders have taken the white flag. 1 lap to go. Looks like Chad Little has lost a little margin.
Looks like the right front tire's gone on that 23 car as well.
He fought it hard, but Bobby Labonte has run a very smart race and a fast race. Apparently able to keep tires on his car, and looks like he's won the victory. At least he's headed that way. He has the lead.
Bobby Labonte, the 1991 Series champion for the NASCAR Busch Grand National cars, comes out of turn 4 for the checkered flag. Bobby Labonte becomes the 15th different winner in 1994. Here's Martin. Can he hold on the 3rd spot?
And there was a dead heat for 4th. He held on for 3rd, but I'm telling you, Mike McLaughlin and Sterling Marlin.
Marlin was a lap down.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was a lap down.
Oh, well, Mike McLaughlin. Yeah.
What a hustle. And Bobby Labonte in the car number 33, a borrowed race car from Brother Terry, Team Chevrolet. Carl Wagner engine, Bobby Labonte, who wins the 3rd annual Detroit Gasket 200. Former Series champion. There's an excited fan who has endured so much today with this lengthy rain delay. There's Phil Parsons riding up alongside, waves of congratulations to Bobby Labonte. Good run for Phil Parsons.
Yeah, if he hadn't had the unscheduled pit stop, he'd been okay. He did finish 17th, the first car on a lap down.
So Bobby Labonte will be taking the Dentine colors to victory lane for the first time, his first win in 1994. Let's check in once again with John Kernan.
Well, I'm with his crew chief, Mark Fryer. Mark, congratulations. You held him off there at the end.
Thank you. We needed that. You know, it's been a long time. We had a tough year. We wrecked a couple times, had motor problems, you know, and all day long we run pretty good. You know, we just told him to take care of his tires, and when people were having tire problems, we were having tire problems, you know, just take it easy, and he done a good job and took care of his tires and drove a smart race, you know. And I'd like to thank Dentine and Carl Wagner and, you know, all the guys. And this car here belongs to Terry, you know. I'm not sure he gave away the best car, but I'd like to thank them guys, you know, for helping us out and everything, and it was good.
Well, you look like you're almost in shock. I tell you, your driver's almost at victory lane, so going up there, and we'll see you up there in just a moment. Jerry?
Thank you.
Well, John, we know he won. We know Bobby Labonte won, but who finished 5th? The veteran and the rookie battling it down in that last lap? Let's take a look.
Well, let's see. It
Dennis
looks like
Setzer in the black car all the way down on the flat part of the racetrack, but Dick Trickle up there on the outside gets the position.
Now, that was a gutsy move, I think, for a rookie driver to be down on the apron on the final lap.
Well, see, you don't know him better. He's a rookie.
Is that it?
Yeah, you don't know him better.
He's not been around long to be afraid.
Exactly.
Okay.
He's doing it.
There's Bobby Labonte, and we're going to let him climb out of the car, and this crowd has waited all day to see this race completed, and the young man from Corpus Christi, Texas, the Dentine Chevrolet driver. And his very first thoughts are, how is Ernie Irvin? We'll be back to talk with the winning driver, Bobby Labonte, after this. Stay with us.
At AutoZone, most of our customers are the kind of people who like to work on their cars themselves. That way they save money, and they know the work's done right. Of course, when they come to AutoZone, they know they're going to find the right part for the right price. But sometimes, what they're looking for is just a little advice. And that's okay, because we don't put a price tag on it. You see, at AutoZone, we take pride in taking care of our customers, and we've learned that when you treat folks right, they keep coming back.
They hate to be late. Traffic makes them mad. And waiting makes them furious. Sound familiar? Then drive through McDonald's for breakfast. It's fresh, hot, delicious, and served at top speed so you can get back in the race.
Mess with me. Sprint cars, NASCAR, Indy cars, through the years, I've driven them all.
Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco.
One thing I've learned, no matter what you drive, you've got to take care of it. Haviland is the one.
No other leading motor oil offers more complete protection to help your car run better, last longer, even if you haven't been driving as long as Mario.
There's an old Italian saying, when you're cooking, you've got to use the right oil.
Haviland Formula 3. Why add just any motor oil? Add more life to your car.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth, and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush here.
And our aerial shots of this Busch Series competition today in Michigan brought to you by the fine folks from Steel Chainsaws. There are the fine folks of that beautiful shot of high above Michigan International Speedway. The Detroit Gasket 200 is history. Bobby Labonte has won. Let's take a look at our complete rundown. And Ned and Benny, what an outstanding finish for some young drivers.
Well, Chad Little, as we heard him, coming home with a good second-place finish. Mark Martin held on for third.
And look at Hermie Sadler back in 8th spot. Dave Resendez, 14th.
Patty Moise came home in 12th place. Good run for her.
How about that? Phil Parsons, the first car a lap down after that unscheduled stop. So Patty Moise beat her husband, Elton.
Ricky Craven finishing back in 23rd. That will cause a point shakeup. He was second in the point standings. And David Green, Ned.
Yes, he's back in 27th position. Of course, he didn't lose many points to him, but Hermie Sadler, who finished up there, we'll see he did move up in the points.
Terry Labonte getting a disappointing 35th place finish after 3 wins this year.
Especially after his other car won the race.
The car he loaned to younger brother Bobby Labonte. And Tim Bender involved in an incident early on, not of his own doing, that he caused him to exit this race. The point standings, we told you there was going to be a shakeup. Take a look. David Green still holds on. Hermie Sadler has moved up a spot to take the second spot away. Ricky Craven slides back in the third. Chad Little hangs on the fourth. Kenny Wallace is fifth.
And Chad Little is only 1 point behind Ricky Craven.
And look at there, Dennis Setzer moved from 9th up to 7th spot. And I tell you what, guys, it's close all the way through the top 10.
And Tracy Leslie having a problem. He loses 2 spots going from 7th back tonight. And Robert Presley hanging on the 10th spot in the current Busch Grand National Series point standings. Lots of racing action to come your way as you had an exciting super speedway competition today. And next week, guys, on Friday night, we are live from Thunder Valley in Bristol, Tennessee.
Folks, you ain't lived till you've seen Saturday night racing from the Bristol Raceway. It's exciting.
250 on Friday night for the Busch cars, and then, of course, the Goodies 500 on Saturday night for the NASCAR Winston Cup cars.
36-degree bankings. Larry Carrier and the folks Ron Scaff put on a heck of a show. They call it Jet Fighters in a gymnasium, and boy, that's always exciting to see. We'll have live coverage, as you said, Ned, on both nights. A beautiful race crowd here today, a tremendous crowd that persevered through much of the afternoon through a long, long rain delay.
Unfortunately, we're all going to be trying to leave at the same time. There's going to be a big traffic jam, but to see a great race like this, we'll put up with it.
Once again, we congratulate Bobby Labonte, his first win of 1994, making him the 15th different winner in Busch Grand National Series competition. For Kyle Petty and John Kernan, Ned Jarrett, and Benny Parsons, I'm Jerry Punch, congratulating a very happy young former Texas native, Bobby Labonte, winning the 3rd annual Detroit Gasket 200, and saying so long, everyone, from Michigan.